Hey guys, a bit of a stuff up yesterday when we tried to, it was a Thursday night. I had a massive day at work. I shouldn't have even tried to do it, but it is what it is. I'll learn from that. And then the camera batteries died, so didn't get much luck there. Anyway, let's get into, I really wanted to get out number 9 of your questions answered, and I started talking about it last night, and I didn't quite finish number 1, so let's get into it. Are you permitted to make an indentation on your line of play to help with your alignment? Now, as I was speaking about last night, rule 10.2 talks about putting something on your line of play. So whether it's your caddy or someone, effectively your caddy, but they must move away. So they're allowed to touch it, they're allowed to stand and say, if you're hitting over a hill, that's mostly where that's going to happen. And they can stand on top of the hill and say, yep, hit on this line, that's fine. But they have to move away before you play the shot. And the same thing, if you put a bag up there or any kind of object, it needs to be moved away before your shot is played or you make the stroke. Now, if you're put something on and like an indentation, made an indentation in your, thanks Jerry. If you made an indentation on your line of play, that's not going to necessarily be under Rule 10.2 for someone touching your line. It's going to be under Rule 8. So if you've improved your line of play, and effectively you've improved your line of play by showing what your line of play is, so you're going to get penalised under Rule 8 for improving it. It's hard. It's so simple, but it's a little hard to sort of work out that concept. But you're improving it by making it easier for you to understand where you want to start the ball. If you've put something there and then taken it away, and that's created this indentation or a mark that's going to help you. Sorry, Jerry, that would have been really, really early. I hope you got back to sleep, and now you're middle of the day stuff. Did you play golf today? Let me know. Anyway, that's the first question. Second question, if two players are finishing a hole and it's getting dark out and one player finishes and the other player does not, does that finishing player count their score and the non-finishing player forfeit the hole? So I had this question asked to me on Instagram as well. And basically you have to finish, and you have to play your round, you have to finish unless there's a suspension by the committee. Now, you can stop your round, suspend your round, but you're at the mercy of whether the committee believes that you are allowed to stop your round. So lightning strikes, yes, that's in the rules of golf, that if you see lightning, you can stop your round, and the committee, they're not going to be able to penalise you if you saw lightning and stopped your round immediately. But if you stop because of bad light, if you stop because you've got illness, something like that, the committee can allow, I think it's 10 to 15 minutes, a short period of time to see if you're going to be okay. Your illness, you're going to be able to continue. Otherwise, after that, you're going to be disqualified for not continuing and not finishing the round. But in terms of darkness, it's really up to the committee as to whether they want you or to keep going or you're allowed to stop. An interesting one about this you'll see this on the tour sometimes when play's been delayed and then they get back out there and then they definitely know that they're going to be postponed. And a Thursday night is a lot different to a Friday night. So Thursday night, the players aren't too concerned, and so you're trying to get them around and trying to make them really fast, but they're not too concerned. They just go at their leisurely pace, and if they have to get up at 5 in the morning and continue their round then they would prefer to do that so that they're Not, especially if they're not playing well, they'd prefer to have that break and then come back and hit some balls and blah, blah, blah. If they're playing really well, they might be the other on the other perspective and go, yeah, we want to keep playing and, I'm on a good roll. So they then have to have this conversation in the group to say, oh, well, I want to keep going. And the other one says, I don't want to keep going. Now, if it's to finish a hole, that's fine. But if it's just one person, he wants to keep going and the other two in a 3-ball want to stop, then they have to stop. Like that person who wants to keep going, they're not going to have a marker. It's different. It'd be different on a Friday because Friday, there's the cut. And a lot of people on the cut line, a lot of people that won't make the cut, they're done, finished, they'll just want to get out of there. So they'll either want to finish their round or they just will say, okay, if we're coming back tomorrow, I'm not coming back. And that's usually permitted. The European Tour or PGA, whatever, could fine them, but they normally won't. They'll just let them leave. Hopefully they've let them know and they can work out different groups and merge the players around and work out different groups. But if they're on the cut line, it's a sort of a different story. They might want to, take a bit of time and hit some balls, hit some putts, blah, 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 or they might want to keep going. And again, they have to work out with the committee whether they're going to turn up in the morning or they're just going to, try and play it out in the darkness. So, interesting question there. Now, another question, can you choose to use any club on the green and what happens if you take a divot? So, yes, you can use any club on the green. A putter is known or most commonly used on the green, but the putter, iron, wood, whatever, that's just more for the equipment rules as to, okay, we've created this club, now what is it? What kind of implement is it? Well, you'd mainly try and hit as long as you can. So, okay, that's a wood. An iron, you want to hit, a certain distance with a bit of spin. Well, that's an iron. A putter, it's for the more, really small shots and more, you want a certain distance. More exact distance is probably the best way to say it. And so you can use any of those clubs on anywhere on the golf course, but the actual type of implement it is more for the equipment rules. So you can't create a putter or you can't create a driver that then you can turn into a putter or something like that. I think I'm getting outside the realms of that kind of question and answer. Anyway, if you take a divot, it's not a great idea. If you use a wedge on the green, it's not a great idea, but it happens. I've actually done it myself. You apologise to the course superintendent and maybe buy him a box of beer or something like that. But yeah, it can happen, especially for the design of the green. If you're stuck behind a bunker on a kidney shaped, or it's a donut green like that one at Riviera in the States, and then you're going to have to try and hit over the bunker, then of course you're going to be using a putter, using a wedge or something like that. But if it happens, it happens, and hopefully you haven't tried to take a massive divot. If I'm on the putting green and accidentally knock my ball, do I play it from its new position? What about in the fairway? Definitely have covered this one before. If you move your ball on the putting green accidentally, there's no penalty, but you must replace it in the fairway or the rough or the penalty area or the bunker. There is a one-shot penalty, even if you you know where your ball is and you accidentally move it. It's a one-shot penalty, and you still must replace it. There's no penalty if you've accidentally on the green or in the teeing area any way, accidentally or deliberately, or you're searching for the ball. Or there's another couple about whether you've proceeding under a rule. So on the green, accidental, it's no penalty. In the fairway, accidental, it still will be a penalty. So definitely covered that a few times. Jerry, hell no, can't play golf here now as all courses shut down. Going to have about 5 centimetres of snow tonight and cold. Yes, right. That's right, Jerry, in Canada. A lot of Canada will be under snow fairly soon. We had a tournament with only a couple of groups to finish, and they wanted to finish. So on 18, when they teed off, I told them they were going to finish the hole. 2 of the girls birdied the hole. Yeah, and we remember the YouTube video at Sawgrass where Ian Poulter, the committee were like, okay, we're going to suspend play, but if we suspend play, you can finish the hole that you're on. And Ian Poulter and everyone in the group were like, we want to play. We're on the 17th. We want to play the 18th. We don't want to hang around. So they said, well, we're going to blow it in like 2 minutes. So you need to be starting to play the 18th. So Ian Poulter ran up, putted on the 17th, holed out, ran to the 18th. Phil Mickelson and his group were walking up, and Ian's like, hey guys, I just want to hit a ball. And because he was able to hit one shot, the rest of the group were able to not take their time, but get there and they could finish that hole because one person had started the hole. That's a YouTube video that I definitely recommend going and having a look at. Last year's Ontario Men's Am, we had 2 groups to finish on cut day, and they waited. Yeah, interesting. So they wanted to come back in the morning, Jerry. Yeah, and that's if the committee give the players that option, then they're more than welcome to do that. I've got a last question that I got on YouTube. Can you drop your ball into a no-play zone? The answer is yes. Yes, you can drop your ball into a no-play zone. So you're not permitted to play from the no-play zone, and you're not permitted to play when you have interference with a no-play zone. Like your stance is standing in the no-play zone. You're not permitted to play at all. But you can drop your ball into a no-play zone. So when would this situation happen? Let's say you're taking free relief from a wrong putting, or let's say you're taking free relief let's say you're taking penalty relief, an unplayable ball back on a line, and you drop in. And on this back on the line is an abnormal course condition, no play zone. Then you would be able to drop in the no play zone and then take free relief from that no play zone. Similarly, a wrong putting green is effectively the same as a no play zone because you're not allowed to play off it, and you're not allowed to play off it or play when you have interference from it. So if you took unplayable ball relief and you dropped on the wrong putting green, that would be totally fine, but then you'd have to take the free relief from the wrong putting green. So yes, you can drop your ball in a no play zone, you're just not allowed to play from it. That's number 9, your questions answered. Sorry about last night's stuff up, but we're all learning. We'll get there in the end, and I hope those answers answered some of the questions that you need to know. Also, if anyone's in Melbourne listening to this, and shout out I'd love to have a few games of golf with some of my listeners. So I like playing a lot of different courses. In Victoria, I think I've played 137 of the 385 that we have. If you'd love to play a game of golf, I love going into the country, Bendigo, Ballarat, up to the Murray. So reach out and let's go and have a game. So if you're listening to this and you live in Melbourne, Victoria, whatever, especially if you live in Victoria, reach out, because I'll come and visit your golf course wherever it is. So would love to come and play. Any questions, Jerry? I'll miss next week's live as I'll be driving to Florida. Oh, fantastic. So you got back on the girls' circuit down in Florida, Jerry. That's fantastic. It's all right if you miss it. I'm sure you can listen or watch it on YouTube at any time. And, I'm not going to say I'm going to do Friday mornings from now on, but it may be a little bit easier for me, considering it just depends on my time schedule at Spring Valley Golf Club. But it might be a little bit easier for me than that Thursday night, which I seem to be a little bit under pressure and a little bit tired from a big week of work. So, oh, poor David. Yeah, thank you. But appreciate everyone who's joined in this morning, and hopefully this is a bit better than last night's effort. Jerry, you're not getting involved in the golf, but you're just having a leisurely holiday instead of in the snow. That makes a lot of sense, mate. Makes a lot of sense. Anyway, everyone, thank you very much for tuning in, and until next week for number 10. I hope everyone's golf is going well. Thank you, everyone.